Happy Friday. Welcome to our Friday class. And today's class is one that is really fun. It's like a flowy meditative stitch that is really relaxing to create. So I think you'll enjoy it just for that reason, but add to that that the beads are gorgeous. They're amazingly beautiful beads. And I did something kind of fun where I combined the colors to kind of pull out the colors that were already in the main focal bead that I was intending to use. And I just went from there. And so the design is very simple, but it has a really sophisticated look when it's done. And so I'm just gonna hit my buttons here for our recording. And oh, thank you, Elsa. So here's the project on the mat. And what you're seeing is the materials I used and the two finished pieces. So it's a set, and one simple change to the way the stitch is constructed will give you a curve, which makes a really nice element for a necklace. And then you can also just do the stitch with one slight variation and get a gorgeous bracelet. It is reversible, so you can wear it with the blue side up, or you can wear it with the bronze side up. And they're both beautiful, no matter which one you go with. And you know, it wouldn't be bad to switch like in the same way, like have it flip and flip and flip. So you could have the blue and the bronze showing. So I did not try that yet, but I just now thought of it, and it would also be really cute. So I used the main star of the show here are these 2-hole Czech glass. They're called tiles. Usually I hear them called tiles or squares, but the key thing is that they have 2 holes, which gives you a lot of options in the way that you stitch them together. And they are the 4mm size. And then what I did is I went to the seed bead wall and I held it right up to the wall you see behind me. And I just looked at it and I'm like, ooh, this is so cool. And I kind of knew I needed a size 8 already because I had something like this in mind. So we had the perfect matte brown, and that just gives it a real cool look next to this blue color, which is like it says neon blue. It's not a super bright neon though. And given how just oceany bright that one is, I thought that really looked nice. So this really pops next to each other. And then I felt like it needed something. It needed like a metal, and I needed a bead that was just a little bit bigger. And I grabbed these. So they're cube beads, faceted metal cubes, and they actually were just the size I needed. You could though, if you wanted to, just replace this bead with any size 8 seed bead. So like if you're having any trouble finding these, you can grab a size 8-0. And you know, there's a lot of metallic 8-0s on the wall. So you can grab a metallic 8-0 and work with that. And that would be the same size equivalent, and your pattern would work out great. Okay, and so at the end, we're gonna pull in some findings. I used some toggles for the end of that. And I've been using these. I love these a lot. And then also on the necklace, you might want to grab some chain. And I grabbed this one, which is like gosh, it's rose gold, but it looks really good with copper. So I thought that worked really well with the colors. But there's a lot of options, so you can explore that wall and see what you see. And then just match a clasp to it. So just grab a toggle, some jump rings, and you got it. Okay, so I'm gonna just set the finished ones aside for now. And let's start with the bracelet. The bracelet one is it's probably the easiest one to learn. They're both easy, but this one is symmetrical, or the other one you're doing something different on one side versus the other. So I thought we'll start with this and get the stitch down, and then we'll show the necklace. Okay, so the first thing you'll want to do is get your beads out. You'll need them all at once. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my flush cutters. And I thought I wanted to show this step really quick because it's handy to see it. There's a little crimp at the bottom, and just use flush cutters because it's pretty tightly strung. You don't want to damage your bead. So just really gently remove that. If you make the necklace and the bracelet the same lengths that I've got for my bracelet and the same counts I've got for my necklace, you'll have one bead left from this entire strand. So it uses all of them, and it gives you the option of making that bracelet one bead longer too. There's also other ways you can increase the length of the bracelet. And just before I get going, just so anyone trying to plan out their shopping, I can show you what this one is. So when you have it on, it's going to wear it at 7 inches. Sorry, I'm off camera there. So at about 7 inches. If you'd like to make it one bead longer, that'll give you another 1/4 inch. And then additionally, what you can do is you can take the ends and just have this be longer. You can make this as long as you want. And if you're using this clasp, it will stay put on the spot where you stitch it on. So you could add another inch here and you could add another inch here. So starting with that, there's the square beads. We got those. And I've got enough to get started with I selected for the copper on this strand and save these for a couple weeks from now. We're going to do a class with these. Actually, it might be, I need to look. It might be, yeah, it's the class after the next one. We'll be using the rest of that strand. 11-0. And then here's my 8-0. Okay, and just to keep it clear so you can see really well, I'm going to push this off to the side here. It tends to interfere with the focus a little bit. All right, so just diving in, what we're going to do is just start with this basic construction. And I'm going to be using some Wildfire. You can use either color. Go for like the 0.006 if you'd like. And you could go with either. I think I actually did use Frost on my necklace and my bracelet. So you can see easier today. I think this is easier to see. I'll go with this one. And so in the handout, I said about 70 inches, and that's a good length. If you want to go with a little less and add thread, you can do that. But 70 inches will get you there. Okay. For my beading needle today, I'm just going to be using a size 11. Grab one of those. And then last but not least, I need some chain nose pliers. And that's just for a really quick flattening the end of my thread. Once you've got that flat, it'll just be easier to get that through your needle. Yeah. So just go ahead and pull down a good length. It'll make it easier for you to pull the stitch through and then just fold it over. So I probably folded over 15 inches or so on this 70-inch strand here. Okay, and so this following process, it just gets repeated for the whole length. So we'll do a bunch of them so you can see it. And then I do have a jump ahead sample that is ready to go that I can show you finishing with. Okay, so I like to start, I was working with the bronze side up, but it actually doesn't matter which side you want to go with. If you want to start with the bronze side like me, that's what I did. And I'm going to bring my needle through to the hole that is on the left side here. So just string that on. And leave about a 12-inch tail. Again, your tail is going to be used to do your clasp at the end. If you want to use that for a clasp, you're going to need about 12 inches. And so I think that's what I said in here is about, yeah, about 12-inch tail. And that'll be enough to do the toggle or the bar side of your closure. And so then you want to string an 11-0. So just one of your 11-0 seed beads, and then one of the these are 3mm cubes. So these are those. And then you want to string one more size 11. So you'll have this little decorative element here. And slide that down to meet your bead. And then just go ahead and go through the other hole. So it's a 2-hole bead. So you're just going to want to go down through the other side. And I'm pinching my tail while I pull this through, making sure I don't lose my 12 inches over here. And so you should have that. And don't worry about the bead there on the end. It moves around and it'll straighten itself out as we go. So pick up another repeat of that. So 11-0. cube bead, and then 11-0. And now what we're going to do is make a circle back around. So what we have here is our thread coming out from that side, and we're going to make a circle back up through this side. And go ahead and go through the 11-0 if you get there. Mine will usually automatically go right through the 11-0. Actually, mine did not do that this time, so let's see if I can get it to you. A little easier to get through it at this step. And then go ahead and pull everything tight right now. And if you've got any beads that are not, this first one, they're going to be a little wonky on you. But we're going for that. So just like that. And the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to travel through with my working side. I'm going to travel through the 3mm bead, through the 11-0, and then just through this hole, the side, the right-hand side of the tile. So let's go through 3mm bead right there. Down through the 11-0. And it'll be easier in one swoop. Whoop, get through the 11-0 and the tile. So let me try that again. There we go. You just want to go through those. And you want to make sure we don't go through the 11-0 here at the bottom. So we're just going through the tile. And now we're where we need to be to add the next one. So tighten everything up. You've got that element going. And for here, the next thing you want to do is pick up an 8-0 bead. So for us, that's that Topaz transparent matte. And then get another tile bead and take a look at it. And just make sure you've got it so it's lined up with the color side that you would like to be the top facing next to the one that is before it. And go ahead and go up through the left-hand side hole of that bead. So we're going right up through the left-hand side here. And up close, that looks like that. Bring that down. So far what we have is we're exiting from that tile bead and we strung an 8-0 seed bead. And then we went through the left-hand side hole of the next tile bead. From here, you need one more 8-0. So I'm going to pick up another 8-0 bead. And I'm going to go back through this tile on the left-hand side. So just through right there. Just the tile. I'm going to avoid the 11-0s and just stick in the tiles. And if you have really tight tension like me, it can be a little tricky just to make sure you didn't hit those 11-0s. So just double check and pull that tight. So we just made a little circle basically, and we joined a new bead and using these little 8-0s as joiner. Those are providing us the space so that our embellishment can stack properly next to the next one. So we're just going to repeat our embellishment now. So we need 11-0, cube bead, 11-0. Oh, sorry. From where we are here, we need to go and get over to this side. So at the moment, my thread's exiting from the bottom of the left. So you need to go through the 8-0. And as you're doing that, just make sure it doesn't grab your 11-0. Sometimes the thread will wrap around it. So just like that. And now we want to go back up through the tile bead right there. Okay, so now we're in that spot where we can add our next embellishment. So I'm going to grab back that 11-0, 3mm and the 11-0. And this time we'll go down through the right-hand side of that tile, pull tight, and you get this nice little top embellishment there. Pick up an 11-0, 3mm, 11-0, get that again, and then go back up through the left-hand side. And at this point, because we're going to be traveling next, we're going to travel through the 11-0, the 3mm bead and the 11-0 here at the top. If you want to right now, you can continue and go through that 11-0. It'll just save you bringing the needle back through. So there's our first little segment. And every time you add one of these, kind of like the weight of it, let me show you the finished one here. The weight of it just kind of straightens out everything. See how nice that came out? So I'm just going to keep going. We need to do a travel step next, because right now we're coming out of the left-hand side hole of the tile, and we continued through that 11-0. So I'm going to go through this 3mm bead, this 11-0, go through this right hand. This is my right over here, right hand side of the tile, avoiding the 11-0 this time. We're not going to go through this one right here. So just going through this one. And then through the 11-0 and just the tile bead there. And there it is. So let's repeat it a couple times. Everything we've done so far, it's just the same thing over and over again from here on out until you get to the clasp. So I'm going to pick up another tile. If it helps you at first, eventually you'll just visualize it without having to check. But if it helps at first to place the next tile down where you'd like it to go, it'll help you figure out which hole to pick up. But in general, if you're doing what I'm doing, you're going for the bronze side up, you're just going through the left-hand side every time. Get one more 8-0 seed bead. So basically just like that. 8-0 and tile and 8-0. And then we're going to go back through this tile through the right-hand side hole, avoiding those 11-0s. And so sometimes what I do is I'll kind of bring my needle under the first one so I can get through that side. And then when you get over here, just push the 11-0 out of the way with your finger, with your thumbnail, usually is what I do. So you know you've only gone through just the tile. As you're tightening it, make sure that thread doesn't, loop over one of your 11-0s, and usually it kind of avoids them. But I just double check just in case. And now this little step, it's easy to forget this when you get excited and grab your next beads, but you do have to travel a little bit back through the first 8-0 you grabbed, and then back up through the tile. So it's just gorgeous and just keeps going and going like that. Let's do one more embellishment on here. And then after that, let's just gonna check in, see how everyone's doing. We could either start over or we could go to the clasp. We can do the clasp first and then start the necklace, I'm thinking.
Danielle, I think that's the perfect plan. Sidebar is good.
Sidebar is good. Everyone's got it.
You know what? It's so nice. Someone just posted, it was Monica, saying that you're so great with your instructions and showing us the close-ups.
Oh, thank you, Monica. Yeah, I'm glad that's helping, because it can be hard to see when it's just down there on the mat, right?
Exactly. And Danielle, I know it's hard to be talking for an hour by yourself and not having anyone to talk to, but I also wanted you to know on the sidebar, people are curious of if they alternated the brown and the blue tiles, what it might look like.
We could try it. Yeah, that was one thing that I was just thinking when we were laying out the materials, like, oh, well, there's no rule saying you have to keep them all
Exactly.
the same way, right? It would still look really cool either way. Let's add one more.
I'm pretty sure someone's going to try it.
Yeah, my symmetry brain probably just wouldn't let me try it, but I think it would look cool. Let's see. So if you wanted to do that, all you'd need to do is just bring that bead over and then just go through the side right there. And then we need one more 8-0. And again, I'm just going through just the tile here. I did not go through either of those 11-0s, because our goal here is just to link the two tiles with that 8-0 seed beads in between. So that's what it's looking like there. If you want to see the embellishment on it.
Let's see it, Danielle.
Yeah,
I think you know what, people are either going to do it the brown side or the blue side, and because you're showing this now, you might have one or two people who are definitely going to try it alternating.
Yeah, I mean, even patterns would be cute, like 3 and then 1 blue, 3, 1 blue, or something like that.
You're right. A pattern would be
1.
awesome.
I wonder what just 1 would look like too. It'd kind of have like a Morse code look or something. I don't know. There's that with the embellishment. That looks really cute. From where I am here, it looks like I just need to get through my 11-0. I usually try to do that as part of the step where I go through the tile, but I don't always make it. So they're just getting through the 11-0 there. And this is just that travel step where we got to go through that one, through that one. And then I'm going to go through the 11-0 tile and then avoid my 11-0 at the bottom. So there's one side. That's the blue side. And then there's the bronze side. That looks cool, doesn't it? I feel like it does. You really can't go wrong. I mean, these beads are so gorgeous. All you got to do is string them up and they're just like the most pretty things.
Exactly, Danielle. You opened up the can of worms because now people haven't done this one yet, but now they're like, wait, we could alternate the beads too.
Oh yeah. Oh, the sky's the limit.
Sky is the limit.
I really do love that style. Yeah, and so if you once you've got that flow, if everyone's okay with seeing the jump ahead, um, just go to the length that you'd like, knowing that you can add length with a clasp. And it looks like I did how many repeats here? There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I did 19, looks like. Which gives you it's just a little under 6 inches, maybe about a quarter, a little under a quarter, a little over a quarter, sorry. And so once you get the clasp on it though, makes it a lot more. So, oh, and actually, it looks like I used 20 on this sample. I might have maybe thought I was adding one more there. So that explains why I had 1 bead left from that strand. So in this case, if you did 20, you get right to 6. And then when you add your clasp, you're at 7. So when we do the clasp instruction here in a second, if someone wants to see on one side how you can maybe add length, I can show that pretty easy. Or you can always just get two of these strands and add as many repeats as you want. Or just don't do the necklace and you'll have tons of leftover. I'm accounting for the ones I pulled out here in that count. When I'm saying how many strands you need, I'm including these. Okay, so let me get a needle just really quick on this strand. It looks like I lost my needle. And the mystery is, did I remove that needle and put it somewhere or not? Here we go. There we go. Okay. So with the clasp, all you gotta do is just go from where you left off with your tail or your working thread. And so where that'll be left when you're at that spot is it'll be left at the end exiting one of your tiles. So in this case, this thread, it's just coming right out from the edge hole of the tile bead right there. And that's the starting point for the clasp. And then all you want to do on one side, let's do the let's do the bar side first because I want to show a little tip here. But it's the same thing on both sides. You're just basically coming out of the tile bead and adding a size 8 and 11 and 8 and 11, and then putting on your clasp. If it's the bar side, you want to come up through and do a loop around to give yourself, it needs length to get through the, to be able to clasp it. Let me show you what I mean. So over here, that side, you can just put the ring on like that and reinforce it. But on this side, you need something that jets out and I want to suggest adding 3 and not 2 because it's a little tricky to put this on. It works, but it's you have to maneuver it. And I think now in hindsight, 3 would have been better, 380. So I'm going to show that, putting 380 here. So start with, from where we are right now, start with an 80. and then getting an 11-0. And then you'll want to get another 8-0, one more 11-0. So that first. And then from there, I'm going to grab 3 8-0. In the handout, you'll see it says 2, but I'm going to go with 3. Bring that down. And then I'm going to grab the bar side of my toggle and go through that. Bring that down. And now what you want to do is go back through the 3 size 8 seed beads. So we'll just go right back through those 3, just the 3. So just those. And then hold on to your toggle bar and just go ahead and pull all of that down so that it meets like that. And then string or repeat 11-0, 8-0 twice. So we're going to go 11-0, 8-0, 11-0, and then an 8-0. And loop around and go ahead and come right back through that same hole you're exiting just from the other side. So through that one, tighten that up. And there's the bar side. So I do think 3 would be better. Again, on the handout and on my sample, I did just 2 there. But what I find is when I try to put it on, when you're maneuvering it on, you have to bring the entire thing through it like that. It's a little tricky. So extra length I would recommend there. It's easy to do showing it like that, but when you're wearing it and you're trying to like do the thing, it's trickier to put it on yourself. So yeah, that extra, I recommend adding that 1 extra bead. So let's reinforce it really quick. And then to do that, I actually was able to get this through in 1 swoop. That's kind of lucky, but I just went through all those beads again. All the way through this side, through those. Go ahead and pull that through. And then we'll head through the toggle there. These toggles have really good rings on them. I kind of like these. Go through just that one. And then we'll go back down through those same 8-0 seed beads. And then continue through the other side. So that would be those beads there. The 11-0, the 8-0, 11-0, and then the 8-0. Sandy calls it toggle time. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things that takes longer than the whole design usually. There's an art of clasping our work. And if you feel like you want to go through it one more time, can't hurt anything. Their 8-0 beads and the 11-0s are really generous. You should be able to get another pass through, no problem. In fact, how are we doing? We're doing good on time. I'll just quickly zip through it so you can see weaving in. And then when you're going through these tiles, just make sure you don't go through the 11-0 by accident, or your thread will show. So make sure you're just coming out of the tile and then heading through the beads again. Let's see if I can do that same thing. Yeah, there we go. I made it through all of them. Make it quicker. We'll get through those 3. Your third pass will probably be pretty tight. Mine's getting really tight. There we go. Just through those. And I need to go back down through this side. Sometimes I lose track of what side. So maybe making a note of where you came out. And so you know which side to go down. Sometimes I lose track of which side I'm on, left to right. I know you guys can relate. I think that's the right one. Okay. And then again, just through the tile. So there's 3 passes, and that is what I did on my samples. It's really strong. So for weaving in, all I did for weaving in is I just kind of did a bunch of jumping around. So you can go through your embellishment now. So I went through the 11-0 that's embellishing the top of the tile here. We go through one of these cube beads. 11-0. And going through a tile bead here. Let's see where I'm at. I went through that 11-0. I'm going to come back out of it because I think I want to turn and go through the next tile. Okay. So through the 8-0. So you get the idea. We're just going to go around in a circle a few times. And this is how you add thread. If you want to make an epically long one of these, like a collar length necklace or something, and you're going to need to add, this is how you do it. And so right about there, I think is probably good. If you had any like loose spots or something you wanted to fix, you can weave to it. And I'm just going to go ahead and grab my scissors really quick and just trim it there. So there's that side done. And so on the loop side, we're doing okay on time. If you guys want to see that, I can show it. So putting on this side, or we can just go straight to the necklace. Oh, the blue side does look good. Yeah, I agree.
Danielle, I think I would go to the necklace and then
Go to the
time
necklace?
permitting, show that other side again.
Yeah, pretty good. Because I'm going to make sure I feel like everyone can kind of extrapolate from what we just did. This was just a little easier than that. Instead of doing those 3 seed beads where you just jump out, you just come through it and just go in a circle through all those. Super easy. Weave in just like we did on the other side. And you got it. So let's do the necklace. Okay, so the necklace is really, really easy. It just has a slightly different step at the top. It's not embellished on the top. And by doing that, but still adding your 8-0 on the bottom, it makes it curve. Really, really simple concept there. Let's just make one of those. I'm gonna grab this thread here because it's handy. Is the white okay, guys? I feel like it's actually okay. It looks, I forgot when I did my samples. I was just using the frost. Okay, so same steps to start, but with one little difference. You'll notice when we started the bracelet, this is what we did. We came up through this side like that. When I started the necklace, I ended up coming down through here. So like that. It doesn't actually matter too much if you flip it. You can always just, back out and go back and fix it. But it's easier if you start this way because the way we're going to start building like that, you want to end up with your tail. It's handy to have your tail in this position because we're going to attach a chain with it. So if your tail's already where you want it, that's helpful. So that's why I did it that way. So when you're starting your necklace, just know that you're going to come through this way on your bead. And you're still going through the same left-hand side to start. And then let's go embellishment. So we need the 11-0, the 3mm, and the 11-0. So grab those. And then just come up through the other side of the tile there. And then just pull tight, and you'll get that. And now what you want to do is a little different, but grab the next tile and go down through without adding an 8-0. So we skipped adding our 8-0 because we're coming out of the top here. So it looks like this. Let me bring it up a little closer. Basically, it's like that. And so I'm going to set that down in the position I'd like it to start traveling and grab my 8/0 seed bead. So you just need one 8/0, and we're just going to go back up through that tile on that side. So just like that. And we didn't go through the 11/0, just the tile. And pull tight. And what you'll get is it'll kind of do that on you. Help it sit this way. If you even want to just hold those beads together in your hand like that when you tighten. Sorry, my tail needs to be pulled back out there. And as you go add beads, it'll get a lot tighter. I'm going to make this go a little better. There we go. Okay. Roughly like that. And the curve won't be dramatic until you've added a few. It's very subtle right now. And I'll show you again on, here's one I have that's worked ahead that we can use to show finishing, but it, see those first ones, you just don't really, you don't see it until you start adding them. So let's keep going. From here, you want to turn and go from here, we're exiting from this side of this tile. So we're just going to go back down. Through that side and then just tighten that up. And then do another embellishment. So that's just our 11/0 3mm 11/0. And then we're jumping over to the other hole of that tile. So that one is finished there. And same thing again. We're back to where we started. And so here's my tile bead. And I'm going to bring it on like that. Sliding that all the way down to where it needs to work. It's going to look a little lopsided. Grab that 8mm, sorry, 8/0, not 8mm, 8/0 seed bead. And then just going right back through this tile without going through the 11/0. And back down through the tile. You see it's starting to take shape. It's working out really nicely. And this side needs its embellishment put onto it. So we'll go 11/0, 3mm 11/0. And up through the side. All right, how's everyone feeling about that? Does that look like it's pretty easy?
Danielle, so far so good.
Or so good?
And some of your regulars are shocked at seeing the thread.
Yeah, I know. You're going to see it only in one place though, but I do recommend the white for this, at least this part. You're only going to see it at the top. See?
Yes, they're attempting to calm down.
And if you didn't like that, there's really not much you can do because if you add a bead there, even like a 15/0, it's going to straighten it out at least a little. But one thing you could do, if it's really driving you nuts, this concept will work if you make 2 changes, if you want to have beads appear. Okay, so right now I've only put an 8/0 here to space the bottoms, right? Which gives it that gentle curve. But if you were to go up a size and maybe that is a 6/0, and then you could add an 11/0 here. So maybe do a 6/0 on the top and 11/0, sorry, 6/0 on the bottom, 11/0 on, if this is your top, then you would still get a curve, but you would have a little bead poking out up here. You wouldn't have a smooth surface. When you're wearing this necklace, it does not, it's not super dramatic when you're wearing it. All people are going to see on is this part of it, this front part. Maybe when you're looking down, you'll see thread a little bit, but. Yeah, definitely. If anyone tries the 6/0 11/0 idea, I'd love to see it. I might try it too. In fact, we're okay on time. I do have a bead wall behind me. Let me know. But yeah, so the idea though, the stitch behind how we did all this, does that make sense to everyone? Or you need to see one more repeat? You could do one more. Oh, Marguerite's saying use a Sharpie. Yeah, you could. like a beige Sharpie.
Danielle, I would go ahead and do another repeat
Do repeat. Okay, let's add
because
one.
the curve is really starting to develop now.
Yeah, it's really satisfying when it starts showing out. Like you can see it that it's doing the smooth. Like, remember when we did the rainbow bracelet?
Exactly.
That one's kind of the same concept where it was not super noticeable until you did a few rounds.
And I think you would definitely want to make sure they see how you finished it.
Yes, that's when I've got a finished sample for that. We can switch to that because it is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I did 8 beads. You could do 9, but I did 8. Here's our embellishment. Almost got it. Sorry, my beads are trying to run away. I'm going to tighten that up. You could throw one more on. And I think the only really tricky part is figuring out which way to pick up your bead. Because we're coming from the top. So you're doing that. I'll just go super fast so we can see it form. Here's the 8-0. And there's our embellishment. Next bead. And there's our 8-0. This is actually really quick. Those little faceted beads do not want to go on the needle. They keep jumping away. Here we go. That side. So you see it's starting to take shape. And so when you keep going, you end up with, looks like you only have a few more to go there. Wouldn't a layer look cool like that? I don't know. That could work. Maybe one less. That's an interesting idea. I wonder how you join that. You know what I would do? I would come out of this one with 11-0 and go right through that 11-0. And then maybe join them like that. So you would need one less on that side. You come out 11-0, 11-0, maybe 2, maybe 3. Go through that one, and it would bring you up here, and you could layer them. Ah, I wish I thought of that. That would have been cool. And then maybe you'd feel better about the thread, but now you'd still see the thread on that side. I don't know. What do you guys think? That's kind of cool. So sticking with the original design before I get all sidetracked, because that's what I do. You'll end up with this, and you can do as many repeats as you want. It'll just keep curving. So you can do anything that looks good to you. And you'll need some chain. Let's get the chain on here. Do you try to choose a chain that has a closed rings on it, not open ones? Because your thread's going to be joining to it. So I took some care to select a chain that has these little bars. Let me show you the bars really quick. Oops. What did I do? Oh, I see what I did. Yeah. Okay. So on this chain, and there's lots of different chain options. So really just like look around. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove, even though that is a closed link and you could probably stitch to it just fine. In fact, looking at my design over here, this appears to be what I did, but you can also stitch directly to that bar, and that bar is closed. So when I did this version, I think I had a little magnifying glass, and what I was looking for were opens. So on chain, an open means it's like a jump ring, meaning you can open and close it and remove and add links that way. If you have a chain where your links are open, try not to go through one of those open links when you're doing your thread attachment. If you have something like this with a bar, you can go through that bar. You know that doesn't have an open on it. But it looks like I checked out this chain. So if you're using this one, which is the 106966647 that is in the handout. If you're using this one, it actually has closed rings. I must have double checked that. And they're oval, so that's also helpful. So let's go with that. Let's go with that. But yeah, just double check your chain. You want to make sure your chain is definitely has a closed link on it. And then I already have a needle here, so let's start with that side. We're just exiting right from that edge. And I'm just going to go through my chain link here. And then just come back down. And so that's one side. And I'm going through the embellishment. Coming back up through here. And then something you can do to do a turn if you want is you can just go under your thread bridge here. It'll bring you kind of over, and then you can just go through your chain again. See, you don't have to make it too complex. You can just go through the chain again and go down through this bead. And you can loop around and do that attachment one more time. So let's try to do that a little bit more so you can see it. There we go. Does that look good? See how it's attached there? I would go through it one more time. I'm going to switch my needle. My needle's a little bit, this end of it is thick. So let's grab, I think I just grabbed what I had on my mat when I was going with this one. There we go. Yay. Okay. And then there's one more thing I wanted to show. So when you're coming out of the 11-0 here, going through this embellishment, there's one more way you can get back to that if you want to. You can use the thread bridge over there to turn to, but you will see it. I'm just going to weave in. And then we can do the other side. We'll do the other side too. Around. Oh, and the tighter you make this, the more pronounced that little curve will be. That's another really good thing. Okay, let's switch my needle to this one. I've got a little more working thread on this side. That one, I let that one get a little short. Not sure how I did that. Okay, so I want to show a trick that I use to do my necklace measurement. So one thing I'm going to look at just really quick is the chain on this side is also good. I've got a loop here. Try to match what you did. If you did connect to a bar on the side, connect to a bar on the side. If you matched to one of these, which is what I did on that one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to lay it out like this, just really quick, unkink that. And this is just determining your necklace length. So if you have one of those little, you know, those little trays that you can use for necklaces, if you have something like that, go ahead and lay that out and bring your necklace onto it. And I'm just trying to undo that right there. There we go. Perfect. And what I do is I lay it out onto one of those or just measure it and then just start bringing it down to get the length that I want. And once I'm happy with that length, I'll go ahead and sew on, cut it here, sew it on. Then I'll come up here and cut it and put the attachment. Does that make sense? And that way you know where your true center is. So I'm going to do that now, but I don't know what length I want. So let me figure out exactly what I'm thinking. We're at, so that'll be a 15-inch necklace. I think I'd like it to be more like 16 or 17. So I'm going to go maybe like that. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to cut here. And so I'm going to cut the bar because I'm going to use my loop. I'm being really gentle not to cut my jump ring. There we go. Got that off of there. And maybe one more. Okay. So I would just be very careful when I remove that bar part, not to cut my nice jump ring. So that is a nice closed jump ring right there. Okay, so I'm going to go through it. Okay, and then back down through this bead here. And I'll loop through, I'm just looping through this part just to travel around. Thread bridge here. It gives me somewhere to turn. And then going back down through the chain. And then through the edge here. And maybe I'll do that one more time. Just, I didn't do it more than once on that side because I just had short thread. 2 is probably good. It's not a heavy necklace, but if you want to add one more, it doesn't hurt. Oh, and then as you're doing that stitch, do this really quick before you weave in. Just make sure it can move. You don't want to pull the jump ring into the hole of the bead. It can happen. So just make sure that it's free moving so that you have some sway. Oh, so many things to think about. It's so much harder to clasp it than to do the stitching, I've noticed. And so back up through here. Oh, thanks, Sandy. I hope so. Yeah, I try. I appreciate hearing that. And again, here I am at the top. And I'm just going to grab the thread bridge. It's going under it. Gives me a place to turn so I can head back this way. I'm going through the jump ring there and back down through the bead. And now I would weave in. So you guys have seen me do that a few times. So I'm just going to get through the bead here. If I can. There we go. And then again, right before you weave in, you want to just make sure it moves. Pretend I did the weaving in on that. And now let's just look at our necklace. So I'm going to hold the center point. And I'm going to get this bar and remove this bar. And then hop on a clasp. How are we doing on time? Do you guys want to see that? This is an easy thing that everyone knows how to do. Open the jump ring. Let me know, Carmi, if you think I should just whip through that real quick or if everyone's probably got that.
Danielle, I think you're good.
Good? Yeah, and then also if somebody makes this super long, they could just pull it over their head. So you don't even have to put a clasp on it. That's one way to do it. But I would just remove this bar and then on one of these, I would put a jump ring in the lobster claw. I usually do that on the right side for right-handed folk. And then on this side, let me bring the necklace back over. You want to put a larger jump ring on the side that you're going to clasp to. So I did something like that. Sorry, I'm off camera there. On one side there. And then on this side, jump ring, and then the clasp on there. Super, super easy. And the length I did on that, I think was similar. Let's see what I did. Yeah, right about that. I think maybe I made it a little shorter. But yeah, so that's in a nutshell how to make both of those pieces. And then of course, I'm hoping that that gave you just even more ideas of new things you can do that are even better than those. You could probably come up with patterns like we were saying earlier, and then that idea of trying the 6-0 with the 11-0 on the top for the necklace, it would look like this. You would replace that bead with a 6-0 bead, and you would add an 11-0 bead up here. It will change the look, but it will still give you that cool curve. It'll look less dainty, but that might be cool. I mean, it could look more, I don't know, just a different look, but still a cool one, right? Yeah, and so that's in a nutshell that class. Next week we're doing Sunny Scallop. Let me grab it really quick. So next week we have this really pretty bracelet. Oh, thanks. This one is super easy to do. Let me get it off this board. This board is not, the camera does not love it. Permalux. So if you guys have seen the new seed bead wall, the Czech Permalux is up and it's gorgeous. It's glamorous, gorgeous. This is a super easy brick stitch variation and it uses 8/0. So it's a great beginner brick stitch intro. If doing a stacked brick stitch is kind of new to you, you'll enjoy this because this will give you some skill building. And I just used some matte color 8/0 Permalux. So all you need is 3 tubes. And you can go with anything really. You can just go with, you want to have 3 colors if you like this design, but there's no reason you have to have 3 colors. You can always change the counts and things like that. But if you want to try, just as I'm going to be teaching it, I'm going to be working with 3 colors, but yours doesn't have to be these 3 colors. There's a lot of other colors too. There's like one of the ones I was kind of looking at, I was thinking it'd be cool to do something with the mint. This is one of my favorite ones. So you might see a version of that if that's, well, I get inspired next week to do something like that. I think I don't know. I'm trying to decide if I bring in pink or not. Or I might try to match the hematite look of this one, which is the class after this one. This one I pulled in hematite with the gray, and you'll recognize our beautiful little strand of metallics on there. So I hid that for myself here. This one uses that one. And then there's a purple one for you. That one is using the silver from the strand. And then I wanted to use them all, so I made a gold version that uses the gold one. This one is cool. Look at that. With the pink. That one came out really cool. That might be my favorite. So these classes kind of go together because we're going to be paletting with Czech Permalux, and you can just take the beads you have from this class and the beads we're going to use for this class and combine it all into the one that's right after that and make yourself a matching set, bracelet and earrings. So that's the next 2. And then we do have one more after that that's going to be just some brick stitch with delicas. And then we did this thing where we glued crystals on. So I'll show that in more detail next week because that one is a little ways out, but you can find them all on michaels.com/classes. And if you want to download the PDFs, they're already there. So you can just go and download them. All right. So if you post your work, please share it with us at #MakeItWithMichaels and #JohnBead. And if you want to, you can visit our blog, blog.johnbead.com, and join our Facebook group. And that is PDFs and projects from John Bead on Facebook. And best way to get there is go to the blog and just link to it. All right, guys, have a great weekend. I wish you happy beading, and we'll see you in the socials.